Take a walk with me this way. As you know, this is one of the busiest places in town for nightlife, and on the weekends it is even busier. So that's why Austin City leaders will close Rainey Street from Driscoll in that direction. The state has set up a temporary homeless camp. Walk with me this way. These are the porta potties and hand washing stations that are now set up and ready for homeless people to use. You can hear the crews around. In fact, the grass was just cut earlier. There's still fresh grass clippings out here. There are about 1,900 students who cross into this campus every single day, but for the rest of the school year, they're heading about 10 miles south. It's about 20 minutes from the Louisiana state line. And check this out. The owners of this house have already started gutting it. But there are a lot of people like Jane who rely on Instagram engagement for their income. From here, it's still a mystery as to where they went. But tonight, Heidi's parents are here from Louisiana, and I just spoke with them a little bit ago. They are even doing their own detective work. When friends and family remember Heidi Broussard, some think of her smile. Others think of how she brought joy everywhere she went. And these two remember when they first met Heidi, the day she was born.
They've been a part of our lives our entire life.
Rebecca Guillory and Rachel Powell considered Heidi their sister.
We just never imagined that something like this would happen.
At a Lake Charles, Louisiana funeral home Saturday, Rebecca, Rachel, and dozens of others said their final goodbye to the 33-year-old. While speakers honored Heidi and many in the room were brought to tears, the sound of crying and fussing from baby Margot could be heard above it all. It's Heidi's children that are helping the family through these dark days.
We'll get up every day and remember her, and like she said, let her legacy live on, and do our best to make sure the kids know how wonderful she was.
Heidi's fiance Shane Carey's father, Ty, calling her a perfect mother.
Every fiber of her being was wrapped around in her children.
Saturday evening, singing on the Lake Charles waterfront as Heidi's high school classmates and people from the town where she grew up also said farewell. And for people who never met her but feel like they know her, Heidi's friends say, live the way she did.
She chose to be happy. No matter what was going on, she'd always act like, you know what, it's gonna work out. You know, don't sweat the small stuff. Heidi didn't. She loved deeply, loved the same.
A love that will never stop, and a smile that won't be forgotten. In Lake Charles, Bryce Newberry, KVUE News.
I went to first period, and second period, third period, fourth period, and then I got to sixth period.
This is the chaos that unfolded inside a foreign language class at Lehman High School last week.
She pinned me against the wall and started choking me. And then that's when I slapped her to get her off of me. And that's when she started punching me repeatedly. I never expected it to be me. I hated that it was me.
Would you ever expect something like this out of a teacher?
No.
16-year-old Savannah still doesn't feel comfortable enough to show her face after 32-year-old substitute teacher Tiffany Langford beat her in front of her classmates. It all started with students laughing.
When she told us to shut the f up, that's when we said, whoa. And then she started bragging about herself, and I turned around to my group of friends and said, well, you're not gonna make money talking to students like that. And that's when she got up in my face and said, what did you say?
The attack escalated from there into this viral video that Savannah's mother, Jennifer, watched as she hurried to the high school.
They're supposed to be safe there, and clearly they're not.
Savannah's dad, Rolando, still emotional, thinking about what his daughter went through.
And just helpless that I couldn't do anything to save my daughter from that just brutal beating.
Savannah is being treated for a brain injury, but her team of doctors still don't know how bad it is.
I don't know how I'll handle this one, because it was a big one and a bad one.
Jennifer still doesn't quite know how to process it either.
I don't know what was going through that teacher's mind.
When I saw the way the teacher was dressed and I saw the viciousness of the attack, I thought, this has to be two students. I don't understand.
Paul Batrice is the attorney for the family.
The family's #1 concern is this cannot happen to another Texas student.
Savannah says she doesn't know when she'll be back to normal.
I'm scared just to even step foot in the school or even outside.
Savannah's parents say something needs to be done because the school district didn't know Tiffany Langford had been arrested for a violent crime. She was arrested but never convicted for a domestic violence incident in Maryland in 2014. Tiffany Langford is facing assault charges, but it turns out weeks before that happened, another parent claims Langford bullied her child. This is the video that's gone viral, showing 32-year-old substitute teacher Tiffany Langford attacking a 16-year-old student at Lehman High School. It was only Langford's 18th day working in a Hayes CISD classroom. Langford became a substitute teacher with the district on September 13th when she taught at McCormick Middle School. On that day, the school district confirms to KVUE, Langford targeted a 12-year-old student in front of the student's classmates. That student's mother wrote a letter to McCormick principal James Cruz. In it, she says, her son started crying in class and the teacher called him a crybaby in front of the whole class. The mother then asks, what substitute teacher or grown adult thinks it's okay to call a student or child a crybaby in front of their peers? And she says, if this substitute can't handle this type of situation without calling a student a name to make fun of them, then this person should not be responsible for a group of young kids. Continuing, sounds like this substitute was bullying my son.
And as far as I know, we haven't had any complaints or they haven't reached our level.
That was Hayes CISD Superintendent Eric Wright on Monday before we told the district about the September complaint. In a Tuesday statement to KVUE, Hayes CISD called that complaint troubling, but said the campus or district could not have predicted what happened. It went on to say, in light of the complaint, quote, brought to our attention by KVUE, the district will now require a centralized registry of all complaints against substitutes with the district's Human Resources Department, regardless of severity. Bryce Newberry, KVUE News. Those students gathered before the vigil to write messages of gratitude to the first responders, and for one of those students, those messages hit closer to home.
Things are tough, but we'll get through it together. Odessa's strong.
With the stroke of a pen,
we thank you for laying your lives down on the line to protect and serve.
And word by word,
we can never understand what it's like to put our lives on the line.
But Carly Eaton has an understanding better than most.
My whole family was worried. We had people calling, texting, just trying to figure out where he was and if he was okay. And so it really did bring that home.
That's because her 25-year-old brother is a Midland police officer.
For him, it's a daily thing. And I think that when things like this happen, that's when only people think about it, but for people who have family in law enforcement, it's a daily struggle, a daily worry.
That's why she knows thank you after thank you goes a long ways.
I know that families like mine are very thankful for it.
Being able to put words down on paper and handing it to those who were involved is just incredibly effective.
Effective, like all first responders were during the shooting.
They work 24/7. To make sure that their communities are safe as possible.
So, while it's still possible to say thank you,
our beloved people are now safe thanks to you.
Students like Eaton will do it every chance they get.
We appreciate everything that you do. Thank you. From Carly.
One student who wrote cards today says he's thankful for the support from everyone now and just hopes that no one forgets about the Permian Basin once things settle down here. Reporting in Odessa, I'm Bryce Newberry, KVUE News.